I took a DNA test as a joke. Then my half-sister called shaking, saying, "Why does it say full sibling?" My dad went silent. My mom whispered, "Leave it alone." But when I saw her old baby photo hidden in a box, I sent one message. The first time I remember Tara, she was standing in our kitchen with a little gift bag in her hands, waiting like someone had to give her permission to exist in our house. She was 5. I was 7. My dad had one hand on her shoulder, and my mom was at the sink. My dad said, "Rebecca, say hi to your sister." My mom didn't even turn around. She just said, "Half-sister." Not loud. Not angry. Just cold enough to make the word stick. That was how Tara was introduced to me. Not as a child. Not as a little girl who had done nothing wrong. She was my dad's mistake. The proof that he had cheated. The reason my mother got quiet whenever he left to pick her up. Tara held out the gift bag. Inside was a bracelet with purple plastic beads. I stared at it like she had insulted me. I didn't say thank you. I just set it on the counter and walked away. She didn't cry. She didn't complain. She pulled her sleeves over her hands and looked down at her shoes. That was Tara as a child. Quiet. Careful. Always watching the room before deciding if it was safe to smile. And I hated her because I thought that was what loyalty looked like. My mother, Vanessa, never directly told me to be cruel. She didn't have to. She fed me the story in small pieces until I believed it was mine. When my dad added Tara's name to a birthday card, my mom would say, "That's generous, considering everything." When my dad included Tara in family photos, my mom smiled stiffly and said, "I guess we all have to be mature about your father's choices." Your father's choices. I heard that phrase so many times I stopped questioning it. In my head, the story was simple. My dad, Martin, had cheated with a woman named Paula. Paula had Tara. My mother was humiliated, but stayed. My dad kept Tara in his life out of guilt. And I, as my mother's daughter, was supposed to remember where Tara belonged. On the outside. The worst part is Tara never fought me for anything. She didn't act entitled to my dad. She didn't brag about being included. She didn't try to make me look bad. If anything, she seemed grateful for scraps. At my 9th birthday, she brought me glitter pens and a handmade card with 2 girls holding balloons on the front. I barely looked at it. My mom picked it up after Tara walked away and said, "That's sweet. I guess she wants to feel included." That sentence did more damage than yelling would have. I heard the message under it. Tara wanted something she had no right to want. Tara was pretending. Tara was trying to squeeze into a family she had already broken just by existing. So I treated her like a guest who had overstayed. If she sat beside me, I moved. If she asked what I was watching, I gave one-word answers. If my dad told me to be nicer, I rolled my eyes. He would say, "None of this is her fault," but he never explained what this really was. He never pulled me aside and said the story was wrong. He only looked guilty, so I believed he was guilty. Tara was raised by Paula, the woman I had been taught to think of as my dad's affair partner. I barely knew her. I saw her only a few times, usually waiting in the driveway or standing near the door during drop-offs. She was polite and careful around my mom, which made me dislike her more because I thought she was acting innocent. Tara loved her. That was obvious. She called Paula Mom with her whole heart. She talked about the lunches Paula packed, the Halloween costumes Paula made, and the birthday cakes Paula baked. I resented that too, because in my childish mind, Tara had already taken something from us. She didn't deserve a happy home on top of it. I wish I could say I grew out of that quickly. I didn't. When Paula died, Tara was 14. My dad asked me to go to the funeral. My mom said, "I'm not forcing my daughter to mourn that woman," and I felt relieved because it gave me permission to avoid something uncomfortable. Tara came to our house a few weeks later. She looked smaller, like grief had folded her inward. My dad hugged her by the back door while I sat at the kitchen table pretending to do homework. Tara glanced at me once, maybe hoping I would say something. I looked away. I could have said, "I'm sorry." 2 words. Simple. Human. I didn't say them because I thought sympathy would be betraying my mother. That memory still makes me feel sick. After that, Tara stopped trying so hard. She still came around when my dad asked her to. She still gave polite answers. She still smiled when people looked directly at her. But something in her had closed. I thought she had finally learned her place. Now I think she was protecting whatever was left of herself. By the time we were adults, we were civil strangers. We had the same father, some of the same childhood photos, and the same holiday table sometimes, but we didn't have sisterhood. We had history, and most of it was ugly. Then my dad had a health scare. It wasn't dramatic, but it scared everyone. He had chest pain, ended up in the hospital, and suddenly all the old family tension felt smaller under fluorescent lights and the smell of disinfectant. Tara showed up before I expected her to. She came in with phone chargers, snacks, a sweatshirt for my dad, and a folder of notes because apparently she had written down his medications over the years. My first reaction was irritation. I thought she was trying to look like the better daughter. Then I watched her sit beside my dad and hold his hand while he slept. It wasn't performative. It was just quiet loyalty. She asked nurses questions I didn't know to ask. She answered calls when I got overwhelmed. She bought my mother tea even though Vanessa barely thanked her. At one point, I was standing near a vending machine trying not to cry, and Tara came over with a granola bar. "You should eat something," she said. I almost snapped at her. That was my instinct. But she looked tired too, and for once, I saw her as a person instead of a reminder. So I took it. After my dad recovered, Tara and I started getting coffee every few months. It happened awkwardly at first. We only talked about my dad's follow-up appointments, then small things. Bad movies. Grocery prices. A ridiculous sweater she saw in a store window. The kind of nothing conversations sisters might have had naturally if adults hadn't poisoned the ground beneath us. I wanted to apologize, but every version sounded pathetic. Sorry I treated you like a stain on my family. Sorry I believed the story because it was easier than questioning my mother. Sorry you kept offering kindness and I kept handing you silence. So instead, I remembered her birthday. I asked about her life. I bought the coffee. Small, cowardly things. Tara accepted them without making me beg. That almost hurt more. Then Christmas happened. My cousin Shannon had gotten obsessed with family history and showed up with DNA kits as gifts. She thought it was funny. Everyone was supposed to send one in and laugh later about being more Irish or German or whatever than expected. My mother hated the idea immediately. She said those companies were invasive. She said people were too comfortable giving private information to strangers. She said family history was not entertainment. I remember my dad going still. At the time, I thought they were just being paranoid. Shannon kept teasing them, and Grandma Elaine said it might be nice to know where everyone came from. Tara was there too, sitting near the edge of the room the way she always did, not quite inside the circle. Shannon handed her a kit and said, "You and Rebecca should compare yours." That would be interesting. Tara looked at me with a small smile. "I guess we already know what it'll say." I said, "Same dad, different moms." My mom's head snapped up. It was quick, but I noticed. Fear crossed her face for 1 second before she buried it. Then she said, "I don't think Tara needs to do that." Tara's smile faded. "Why not?" My mother shrugged. "Because it's unnecessary." That word sat there. Unnecessary. Like Tara's curiosity was another inconvenience. My dad quietly said, "Vanessa, let it go." She stared at him, and something passed between them that I didn't understand. Something old. Something rotten. Tara took the kit anyway. Weeks later, the results came in. I opened mine in bed, half asleep, expecting nothing more exciting than percentages and random distant relatives. At first, that was all it was. Then I saw Tara's name in the close family section. Full sibling. I stared at the words, waiting for my brain to fix them. It didn't. Tara called less than a minute later. Her voice was shaking so badly I could barely understand her. "Rebecca," she said, "why does mine say full sibling?" I sat up. "Yours says that too? What does that mean?" "It has to be a mistake. It says we share too much DNA to be half-sisters." I got out of bed and started pacing. My mouth went dry. I kept refreshing the page like the numbers might change if I stared hard enough. Tara was breathing fast. "Same dad, same mom, right? That's what full sibling means." I didn't answer quickly enough. Then she whispered, "So who is my mother?" That question hit like ice water. Because Tara had a mother. Paula. The woman who raised her. The woman whose death had shattered her. The woman whose memory Tara still protected like it was sacred. But DNA doesn't care about sacred things. It doesn't care who packed your lunch or held your hand at the dentist. It doesn't care what story adults built around you so they could sleep at night. It only tells you what blood already knows. I told Tara I would call her back. I know that sounds awful, but I couldn't breathe. I needed to see my dad's face before I said anything else. I drove to my parents' house the next morning. My mother was in the kitchen, and the second she saw me, she knew. I hadn't said one word, but she knew. She asked, "Did you do something stupid?" Not, "What's wrong?" Not, "Are you okay?" "Did you do something stupid?" I said, "Where's Dad?" She followed me down the hall, telling me not to start drama, but I ignored her. My dad was in the den with the TV on low. When I showed him the results, all the color left his face. I said, "Tell me this is wrong." He didn't. My mother appeared behind me and said, "Rebecca, leave it alone." That was when I knew the test wasn't wrong. My dad covered his mouth. For a second, he looked older than I had ever seen him. Then he started crying quietly, like the weight had finally cracked through. My mother snapped, "Martin, don't." He looked at her and said, "She knows." I turned to my mother. "Knows what?" Vanessa folded her arms like she was annoyed by a late delivery, not a family secret exploding in the room. My dad told me the truth. Tara was not Paula's biological daughter. She was Vanessa's. My mother had gotten pregnant when her marriage to my dad was already falling apart. She didn't want another baby. She didn't want the judgment, the questions, or the responsibility. Paula was her close friend at the time and couldn't have children. Somewhere in that mess, the three of them made an arrangement. Paula would raise Tara, the legal details would be handled quietly, and everyone outside that tiny circle would believe Tara was my dad's child from an affair. That way, Paula got the baby she desperately wanted. My dad could stay in Tara's life as her father. And my mother could distance herself from the daughter she didn't want while looking like the wounded wife. I felt like the floor had shifted under me. I asked my dad, "You let everyone think you cheated?" He nodded. "Why?" He said he was scared. Scared Vanessa would leave with me. Scared Tara would lose stability. Scared Paula would be destroyed. Scared of everything except what the lie would do to Tara. My mother cut in. "Don't make him sound noble." He agreed. I looked at her and asked, "You gave away your daughter and then spent my whole life making me hate her?" Her face hardened. I did what made sense at the time. What made sense? Paula wanted a child. Tara needed a mother who wanted her. You had a stable home. Everyone got what they needed. I laughed because I thought if I didn't, I might throw up. Tara got lied to, I said. I got trained to reject my own sister. Dad became the villain. Paula raised a child under a fake story. Which part of that is everyone getting what they needed? My mother's voice dropped. You were a child. You didn't understand adult decisions. No, I said. I understood exactly what you wanted me to understand. She looked away first. That was the moment something inside me broke loose. For years, I had seen my mother as wounded and my father as weak. Now I saw the whole shape of it. My mother didn't just hide Tara. She made Tara carry the shame of a betrayal that never happened. She made me feel righteous for being cruel. She let my father wear the blame because it kept her clean. And my father let her. I left before I said something I couldn't take back. Tara called 3 times while I was driving. I didn't answer because I was crying too hard. When I got home, I sat on the bathroom floor with my phone in my hand, trying to decide whether telling her would be mercy or another wound. Then she texted me. Please don't let them lie to me too. That decided it. I called her. I told her slowly. I told her I had spoken to Dad. I told her the test was real. Vanessa was her biological mother. Paula had raised her by arrangement, not biology. Dad had known the whole time. For a while, Tara said nothing. Then she asked, "Did Paula know?" I closed my eyes. Yes, that was the part that destroyed her. Not my mother. Not even my dad. Paula. Because Paula was the safe place in Tara's story. Paula was the one person Tara believed had never lied about loving her. Finding out Paula knew didn't erase that love, but it tangled it. Every baby photo, every birthday card, every bedtime story suddenly had a locked room behind it. Tara made a sound I still can't forget. Like someone trying to hold herself together and failing. She said, "So everybody knew except me?" I whispered, "I didn't know." "I know," she said, and somehow that made me cry harder. For the next few days, everything fell apart in quiet, ugly ways. My dad kept texting apologies. My mother sent one message saying I had no right to destroy Tara's memory of Paula. When I didn't respond, she called me selfish and dramatic. She said the truth helped no one. She said Tara had already lost one mother, and I had ripped the other one away. That almost worked on me, because part of me wondered if she was right. Tara was grieving all over again. Not because Paula didn't love her, but because love mixed with lies leaves a different kind of bruise. I had given her the truth, but I couldn't protect her from what it did. Then I went through old photo boxes. I don't know what I was looking for. Proof, maybe. Punishment. Some missing piece that would make me feel less insane. I found photos from birthdays, holidays, backyard barbecues. Tara at the edge of everything. Tara holding a paper plate. Tara standing beside my dad. Tara looking toward me while I looked away. Then I found an old baby photo tucked behind a stack of school pictures. It was Tara as a newborn, wrapped in a pale blanket. On the back, in my mother's handwriting, it said, "She is Rebecca's mouth." I sat on the floor and stared at that sentence until my vision blurred. My mother had known exactly what she was throwing away. She had looked at Tara as a baby and seen me in her. She had written it down. Then she spent years pretending Tara was another woman's mistake. That photo burned away the last bit of hesitation. I took a picture of the DNA results. I took a picture of the baby photo. Then I sent one message to the family group chat. Tara is my full sister. Vanessa is her biological mother. Martin is her biological father. Paula raised her because the adults made an arrangement and lied to everyone. Tara was not an affair child. She was not a shameful secret. Do not contact her unless you are ready to apologize without excuses. Then I muted everyone. I didn't send it because I thought it would fix anything. I sent it because I was done letting Tara stand alone in the blast zone while the adults hid behind privacy. For once, the shame could go where it belonged. The responses were exactly what I expected. My Aunt Cynthia called me cruel. Grandma Elaine said some truths should stay buried. Shannon apologized for the DNA kits and said she never meant to blow up the family. My dad only wrote, "I'm sorry, Tara." My mother didn't write in the group chat, but she left me a voicemail saying I punished her because I needed someone to blame. Maybe I did. I'm not pretending I was pure. There was anger in that message. There was revenge too. Quiet revenge, but still revenge. I wanted everyone to stop whispering around Tara like she was still a problem to manage. I wanted my mother exposed. I wanted my father to stop hiding behind regret. But mostly, I wanted Tara to have one person choose her over the lie. For a week, Tara barely spoke to me. I didn't push. I sent one message saying I was there whenever she wanted, then left her alone. That was the least I could do after years of making her feel unwanted. When she finally texted, all she wrote was, "Did we look alike as kids?" I sent her the birthday photo first. The one where she was standing at the edge of the group with the gift bag in her hand. Then I sent another one where we were both laughing at something off camera, with the same crooked smile and the same eyes I had refused to see. She replied, "I wish someone had told me." I cried over that for a long time. Because what do you say to that? There are no clean words for something that messy. Sorry our mother gave you away. Sorry our father let you carry fake shame. Sorry I spent years punishing you for being born. None of it was enough. A few days later, Tara asked me to meet her for lunch. I got there early and almost left twice because I was scared she had changed her mind. When she walked in, she looked exhausted but steady. She sat across from me and said, "I don't know what I'm supposed to feel." I said, "You don't have to know yet." She nodded and looked down at the menu without reading it. After a while, she said, "Paula loved me." "I believe that," I said. She lied. "Yes. Both can be true?" I swallowed hard. "I think so." That was the hardest part. Not making villains simple. Vanessa's choices were selfish and cruel. Martin's silence was cowardly. Paula's role was complicated in a way I still don't know how to judge. She raised Tara with love, but she also helped build the lie that stole Tara's truth. The waiter came over and asked if we were ready. Tara was still staring at the menu, so I ordered first. When he turned to her, I said, "My sister needs another minute." My sister. Not half. Not complicated. Not my dad's daughter. Just my sister. Tara looked at me, and her eyes filled right there at the table. She blinked fast, but I saw it. For the first time in my life, I had given her the title without making her earn it. It was such a small thing. It should have been automatic. That's what hurts. The moment only felt huge because everyone had denied her something that should have been hers from the start. We are not magically close now. Tara still disappears for days. Sometimes she texts random questions, like whether I hate olives too, or whether I remember a certain Christmas, or whether my mom ever mentioned her when she wasn't around. Sometimes I answer. Sometimes I have to say I don't know. Sometimes the truth is worse than silence. My mother and I are not speaking. My dad and I barely are. He wants to explain more, but I'm tired of explanations that arrive decades late. Vanessa says I destroyed the family. Maybe I did. But what kind of family only survives if one daughter stays mislabeled forever? I keep thinking about that purple bracelet Tara gave me when we were little. I don't know what happened to it. I probably threw it away or lost it without caring. At the time, it was just cheap plastic beads. Now it feels like evidence from a crime nobody was brave enough to name. A little girl walked into my kitchen with a gift, hoping her sister might like her. And I made her feel like she had no right to be there. I can't undo that. I can't give Tara back the years she spent believing she was the result of an affair. I can't give her a childhood where Paula's love was honest, my father was brave, and my mother chose truth over image. All I can do now is stop protecting the lie. I can stand beside Tara, even if I should have done it 20 years ago. So that's where we are. Tara is my sister. My full sister. Same mother. Same father. Same crooked smile. And according to half my family, I'm the cruel one because I said it out loud. Maybe I should have handled it privately. Maybe I should have given my parents a chance to tell her first. Maybe sending that message was revenge, not justice. But Tara spent her whole life being treated like a mistake. And for once, I wanted everyone to know exactly who made it. So am I wrong for exposing the truth and choosing my sister, even if it shattered the only version of her life she had left?